Start it. Mr. Vice Chairman, sir, first of all, I would like to say that this budget has been well received by our people, and therefore it was interpreted by some people, including the opposition, as a pre-poll budget. That means the budget wants to attract the people. They have also said that this is a populist budget. Formerly, they used to term a budget as anti-people, but not it has been termed as populist. I do not know the meaning that they give to that term, but certainly it has tried to appeal to the people. The term pro-farmer is used because agriculture requires, emphasizes, and greater attention. Therefore, I welcome this budget. Just now, the previous speaker made an attach that although the concession given to the farmers have to be noted, yet bigger concessions have gone to industrialists. Anyway, if you want to remain ignorant about the factual position, you can make such criticism, but Tiwari ji was very careful when he was announcing certain concessions. He said that these are meant against smuggling. Because our polyester textiles are taxed at 42 to 72% of its cost price, therefore smuggling is attractive, and to reduce smuggling and to counter smuggling, the excise duty should be reduced. Is it helping the monopoly or is it helping the national industry? Workers are starving because they are disemployed in the textile industry. Immediately afterwards, Tiwari ji saw to it, Textile Ministry saw to it, the concerned people getting concession were called to Delhi and asked to reduce the price of textiles to the extent the concessions were given. Immediately the newspapers had to advertise that the entire concessions were being passed on to the intermediate producers. The filament yarn or the intermediate raw material which comes to the textile mill was taxed at rupees 84 per kilogram of yarn. Now the NTC gets filament yarn by paying only rupees 10 per kilogram. It is a big help to the NTC. Now if you do not want to look at this reality but condemn the government, it shows you have the old approach. We do not want to score debating points against you. We think that all criticism should be considered properly, even if it comes from the opposition, it is welcome. Let us try to hammer out a common economic policy. Now, because of high taxation, where does it lead to is the main point that one has to consider. The government has also given the solution. I am not saying no. The National Institute of Public Finance and Policy document aspects of black economy in India, which we discussed in this house for 2 days, had recommended and observed that since taxes are levied on a number of bases and there is a linkage between liabilities and direct taxes and indirect taxes, black money generation could be effectively or significantly reduced only if the rates of taxation of all major taxes are fixed at a reasonable level. One of the cause for large-scale smuggling of goods other than gold into India is said to be the high excise and import duty structure in relation to a number of commodities for which there is a considerable demand in the country. There is a positive link between the level of black income and the aggregate tax ratio of the economy. Now, Tiwari ji, in his good faith, tried to give some concessions and reduce the burden of tax. But opposition did not take it in the right spirit. This is an attempt to lessen the evasion. But evasion is terrible. It is estimated from rupees 20,000 to rupees 40,000 crores per year, as much as you are collecting as taxes. The central government is going to collect taxes this year to the extent of rupees 45,000 crores. How much evasion is going to be there? Even state governments also collect sales tax, and everybody knows how much they collect. Then what is happening in the market? Things are becoming costlier and smuggling is rising, and even the evasion figure is also rising. I do not know whether it is a mental imagination or it is a fact that they have said that rupees 15,000 crores smuggling is there. That means almost the amount of export trade that we are doing. Are we not supposed to ponder over these things very coolly? Why Parliament should not discuss the question of smuggling for one day? This requires to be discussed. Then if these concessions are required to be given to these industries, and if the monopolists benefit out of it, it should be done in the interest of the national cause. The direct taxes have come down last year. 784 word है. एट्टी 4 के आसपास की स्पीड है, 84 85. एक और लिखेंगे. ये कॉमन वर्ड 2B का 9 नंबर था. रेडी? Start it. The Honorable Minister for Banking has said that the opposition is creating an atmosphere of despondence and it is creating a misapprehension. Is this misapprehension? I do not like to enter into further arguments with him, but I warn the government that it should think about the situation. There are many comments on the debt trap I have mentioned. I do not like to read out these comments in order to save my time. In this connection, the question of devaluation comes in, and it is a very serious danger to our country's economic sovereignty. I do not have the time to explain. If there is a devaluation, then we will earn less while we export more in volume, and when we import, we shall spend more. That is another angle, another factor of the debt trap. As for the unofficial devalued position of our rupee in terms of the SDR, the Indian rupee has got devalued as much as 40% during the last 15 years. Therefore, I have referred to the debt trap. This is what is happening. The day before yesterday, the Honorable Finance Minister asked Professor Lakshman what our suggestion was regarding a ceiling not only on deficit but also on external debt. I say, yes, there is a ceiling. In so far as external borrowing is concerned, there must be a safe limit, and this safe limit should not exceed 20% of the export earnings in a year. And this was said by our Honorable Finance Minister of this very government. Who that person was, I need not take his name. Everybody knows he was recognized as the number 2 of Prime Minister's cabinet. He prescribed in this house and in the other house that our safe limit on external borrowing should not exceed 20% of the annual export earning. This, I think, was said when the country was debating the IMF loan. And he said that we were certainly prudent, we are within the safe limit of that. Now, according to my calculation, I may be mistaken. I wish I were mistaken. That limit has reached about 27%. Therefore, we have crossed the danger mark. We have crossed the red line. Therefore, government should exercise great restraint on this. I have seen how the World Bank assistance is misused. In this connection, I would like to mention about the circulation of money. The aggregate money circulated was of the order of rupees 7,000 crores, which has increased to about rupees 80,000 crores. Therefore, you can very well understand the impact of all these things. Now, much is being talked about the deficit of rupees 7,000 crores. I do not like to enter into it now, but what is that is causing me anxiety? It is this deficit of rupees 7,000 crores which is going to be there after the new imposts by way of taxes, direct and indirect, of rupees 600 crores, and also after the imposition of a new type of taxation, that is hike in the administered prices to the extent of about rupees 3,000 crores. Sir, the Honorable Minister of State for Finance was mentioning that it was the practice adopted by some other government against which they have got something. Even if they had done it, it is not correct approach to the problem. If the Janata government had done so, it was wrong on their part to have done so, because administered price should not become another instrument for raising the revenue. That is the fundamental position which the government should accept. I am opposed to this practice. I am opposed to this because if you raise your revenue by way of excise duty, customs duty, etc., they are to be shared by the states, whereas if you raise revenue through the system of administered prices, you retain everything with you, and I shall come to that aspect later on. Therefore, this is not to be followed that way. It is a different thing. But the states are being deprived of their legitimate share, and if they had been a part of the regular budget, the states would not be deprived of their legitimate share. Therefore, even hiking the administered prices has become a regular phenomenon in revenue raising. Last year, you might have noticed the budget imposed were of the order of rupees 963 crores, but the administered prices touched the figure of rupees 3,000 crores during the year. This is the revenue income by way of increase in the administered prices, which is more than 3 times or 4 times more than what we imposed on the people by way of regular budget imposts. 782 वर्ड्स है. कौन वर्ड के पार्ट 2B का ये 10 नंबर है. 80 की स्पीड है. टाइप करेंगे, नोटपैड पे भी टाइप कर सकते हो.